สวัสดีครับ and thank you for joining us for the evening edition of NBT World Brief right here on NBT and NBT World. My name is Surapan Lautaranarit. The Joint Management and Monitoring Center for the Situation in the Middle East has confirmed that Thailand has 101 days of fuel reserves. The government urged the public not to panic as energy supplies remain stable. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has assisted more than 1,000 Thai nationals in returning home from high-risk zones. Sarawut Gaothatip, Director General of the Department of Energy Business, addressed the recent fuel station chaos. He explained that a distribution bottleneck occurred because independent traders could not receive oil from wholesalers as usual. This led to panic buying at public gas stations. 6 refineries are now operating at full capacity to produce 175 million liters per day to resolve the issue. The government guarantees that the national oil supply is sufficient. There are currently 42 days of domestic reserves. An additional 59 days of supply are in transit from Angola and the United States. These combined sources ensure that the country has enough fuel for at least 101 days. Regarding potential oil imports from Russia, officials noted that imports were halted after 2022 due to international sanctions. The government is currently reviewing the legal procedures and discussing the necessary steps for future imports. No final decision has been made as the situation requires a detailed evaluation. The Director General emphasized that all 6 refineries in Thailand are functioning normally. Daily diesel production capacity is 75 million liters, while normal demand is typically below 70 million liters. Recent spikes saw demand reach 120 million liters on some days, which caused temporary shortages at certain stations. The public is encouraged to return to their normal consumption habits. The government is preparing a coordinated approach to manage the impact of the energy crisis linked to tensions in the Middle East. Minister of Commerce Supaji Suthampan has issued a strict warning against unjustified price increases and panic buying among the general public. Authorities are currently working with multiple agencies to monitor market conditions and maintain price stability for all consumers. The Ministry of Commerce now oversees 59 categories of controlled goods, including essential consumer items such as instant noodles and milk. While fuel prices are determined by the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Commerce monitors downstream pricing to ensure retail costs remain within regulated limits. These measures are designed to prevent unfair trade practices and protect citizens during times of global uncertainty. Officials confirm that any price adjustments must be justified, and inspections will be carried out by provincial commerce offices and related agencies. Authorities added that some concerns about rising prices may be driven by public anxiety rather than actual cost increases, because energy prices have not yet risen significantly. The government remains committed to ensuring that traders do not take advantage of the current situation. The ministry is also working with businesses to manage supply chains, including identifying alternative sources for materials such as plastic resin, which is largely imported from the Middle East. Domestic supply is expected to remain sufficient in the near term, and the public is urged to avoid stockpiling items. Authorities continue their efforts to maintain a stable supply and fair pricing across the nation to support the national economy. Thailand is intensifying diplomatic efforts to rescue 3 crew members still stranded aboard the vessel Mayuri Nari after an attack in the Strait of Hormuz. While 20 crew members have safely returned home with assistance from Oman and the United Arab Emirates, the fate of the remaining 3 remains uncertain. The government has now officially turned to Iran for assistance in the ongoing search and rescue operation. Foreign Minister Sihasak Phuongkietkaew, who is currently attending an international meeting in Austria, confirmed he has directly engaged his Iranian counterpart to push for urgent action. Iranian authorities have indicated they will liaise with their navy to locate the missing crew, although active fighting in the region continues to complicate the mission. The minister noted that the situation is being monitored closely due to the ongoing conflict. Minister Sihasak also reached out to members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, including Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates. He expressed appreciation for earlier assistance and reaffirmed the position of Thailand, calling for peace and restraint amid escalating regional tensions. The government continues to advocate for a peaceful resolution to the violence currently affecting the area. Beyond the rescue mission, the government is monitoring the potential impact on national energy security. Officials stated that oil reserves remain stable at 95 to 100 days of supply, but contingency planning is already underway. Krungsri research warned that escalating tensions in the Middle East are driving up energy costs and inflation. This situation is putting significant pressure on the economy of Thailand and threatening to slow overall growth. Experts suggest that businesses should quickly assess supply chain risks and build up inventories of critical materials. Diversifying sourcing strategies is also recommended to reduce long-term vulnerability to external shocks as regional uncertainty continues. The analysis indicated that the conflict between the United States and Iran began late last month. These tensions are sending ripple effects across the global economy, including rising oil prices and transportation costs. These factors could reduce the gross domestic product growth of Thailand by 0.2 to 0.9 percentage points from the earlier forecast of 2%. Rising costs are expected to push inflation higher and reduce consumer purchasing power. Energy-intensive sectors are among the most exposed, including oil refining, petrochemicals, plastics, packaging, and power generation. Many of these industries depend heavily on inputs from the Middle East. While refineries may see short-term gains from higher oil prices, a prolonged conflict could eventually squeeze refining margins. Power producers also face significant risks as Thailand sources about 25% of its total liquefied natural gas imports from the region. Other industries are expected to feel the impact as transport operators brace for higher fuel costs. The agricultural sector could be hit by rising fertilizer prices because roughly 1/3 of all chemical fertilizer imports come from the Middle East. Manufacturing and tourism may also suffer from elevated logistics expenses and potential shipping route disruptions or airspace closures. Businesses are urged to remain cautious as global demand weakens and instability continues to unfold in the international arena. The Pathum Thani District Court has sentenced a former national esports athlete and a prominent gamer for cheating during the 33rd SEA Games. The court initially handed down a 6-month prison sentence without suspension, but reduced it to 3 months following a confession. The final penalty was converted from imprisonment to 3 months of detention to be served at a confinement facility. The verdict involved 29-year-old Napat Warasin, also known as TokyoGurl, and 23-year-old Chayo Sutprom, known as Cheerio. Both were convicted of unauthorized access to computer security measures and disclosing protected data during the regional multi-sport event hosted by Thailand. The defendants had previously entered a guilty plea for their involvement in the cybersecurity breach and were out on bail prior to the ruling. The court ruled that the actions of the two individuals severely undermined the integrity of the esports selection process and damaged the national reputation. While the offense was deemed serious enough to warrant a prison term, the court granted a sentence reduction due to their admission of guilt. Consequently, the 3-month term was converted into detention as a measure of leniency, while still ensuring accountability for the fraud. And that's a wrap for our evening edition of NBT World Brief. You can stay updated with the latest developments right here on NBT and NBT World. And for more stories, you can simply scan the QR code on your screen to access our full coverage across all media platforms. Thanks for being with us. สวัสดีครับ